Hello friends, my name is Alex. For a year now, I have been living in an abandoned house in a small, deserted mountain village, far away from civilization. In this video, I will show you all the stages of work over the past year. When I arrived here, the house, the yard, and all the rooms were filled with trash, because before me, a person lived here who had an illness that made him bring garbage home from the dump for 10 or 15 years. It took me 2 months to clean up all that trash, take it to the dump, and bring some of it to the recycling center. First, I'll show you the condition the house and all the rooms were in. There was all sorts of trash here which I later had to sort through. Everything that could be reused, I kept. Whatever could be taken to the recycling center, I took and delivered there. First of all, I started clearing out the house to prepare a place for myself to live. At first, my cousin helped me. I also lived at his place. We came here for 5 days until we cleared and prepared one room where it was possible to live. Then I started living here permanently. After clearing out the house, I started cleaning up the yard. First, let me show you how much trash there was here. Some of this was thrown out from different rooms from houses. First of all, I mowed everything down so I could see where each pile of trash was. Then I started clearing out the trees and bushes. I cut everything back so I could access the trash. And then I began to clear and sort all the garbage. I kept the glass bottles so that I could build something out of them later. As for the scrap metal I didn't need, I took it to the scrap metal collection point. I also took the plastic to the recycling center. Everything that might be useful here, I left here. I piled all the plastic and glass into one big heap. The glass will stay so I can build something out of it. I haven't figured out what yet. I unscrewed all the plastic bottles and let the air out to reduce their volume. I packed them into black garbage bags. Then I hired a tractor to bring the necessary materials up into the mountains to improve my living conditions. On the way back, we took out the plastic and trash. That's how I got rid of all that junk. My friends helped me with this. It took me several days. After the trash was removed, I started temporary repairs on the house to get through the winter. First, I insulated the roof and installed a wood-burning stove. We temporarily covered the roof with plastic sheeting for one winter. I also insulated the house from the outside and did everything necessary to keep the warmth inside during winter. After insulating the house, I started repairing and reinforcing the roof so that it wouldn't collapse under the snow. I installed supports, did some repairs in the attic, then took roofing felt and wrapped the base of the house all around to protect the wood from water damage. I also repaired the canopy so that water wouldn't get onto the front wall. After the temporary repairs to the house, I started preparing supplies for the winter. I brought a solar panel, batteries, an inverter, a generator, fuel for the generator, and the necessary supplies to get through the winter. I also stocked up on firewood for the winter and began waiting for it to arrive. The winter turned out to be harsher than I expected. There were severe frosts, heavy snow, and I didn't have enough firewood. As a result, I had to gather more firewood during the winter. This year, I will try not to make the same mistake. There was also a problem with having enough dry firewood. This year, I will have more dry firewood. Overall, I got through the winter quite well. there weren't any major problems or difficulties, but still it was a bit unpleasant to gather firewood in the snow. As soon as the snow melted, I started clearing the garden. The garden here was in a very neglected state. It had practically stopped bearing fruit, so in the spring I started clearing it out. It took me about a month of work, but I didn't manage to finish everything. I pruned the trees but didn't have time to process all the branches and clear everything up. I just left everything in piles and will finish this work in the fall or winter. Then I bought a gasifier. This is a device that produces gas from wood, and then a regular generator runs on this gas. It didn't actually run much for me this winter. I was just setting it up and starting it. I also tried adding plastic to it and running the generator. Basically everything worked out for me. The generator ran, and quite well at that. I also experimented with mixing in Brown's gas hydrogen. That worked too, and the gasifier ran well. This winter I will try to extract additional heat from the gasifier to heat the house and generate electricity. But however, that will only be during this next winter season, and there will certainly be many more new videos coming out on this specific topic. and there were many other things I did here as well. I cleaned the springs and made new covers for them. I also made birdhouses for the birds, various feeders as well. I extracted silver from electronic waste left here from all sorts of TVs and radios. I made a device that charges a phone from a campfire. There are videos on all these topics on the channel. You can watch them separately because here there are only small snippets on each topic. And the biggest project of this summer. My cousin and I took apart the old roof and built a new one. But I haven't had time yet to finish the gables and the soffits. And there's still a lot of work left to do on the roof. I bought wood to make the soffits and finish the gables. I also want to clad the house with wood, sand it, and paint it. But for that, the wood needs to dry out a bit, at least for a month. And then I'll get started on those jobs. In the comments, you asked me to give the kittens names. Let me introduce them. Lily, the girl. Leo, the boy. That's the kind of harvest I'll have this year. Thank you so much, friends, for watching the video and for supporting me. Thank you to the sponsors for your sponsorship subscriptions. See you in the next video.